Hi, I'm Elaine Sheff, Clinical Herbalist and Co-Director of Green Path Herb School. I've been gardening for many years and I'm very excited to share some of the medicinal plants in my garden with you. Today we're going to be talking about Motherwort, which is an herb that is extremely useful for the nervous system and the reproductive system. Welcome to my herbal garden. All right, so this is Motherwort. This is an exceptionally tall plant in my garden. So I would say it's at least 6 feet tall, and Motherwort tends to grow a little bit shorter than this. But I like actually just talking about that for a moment, because you'll see in lots of different plant guides and field guides and descriptions of plants, Motherwort, you usually say, oh yeah, it's maybe like 2 to 4 feet tall, and here's an example where it's 6 feet, and so I guess what I'm saying is there can be lots of variability in how plants grow, and depending on how much water they get, if they really like where they're growing, what the nutrients in the soil are like, and all of those kinds of things. So this is a really happy Motherwort plant, and this is the perfect time to gather this plant. So I'll show you a beautiful picture of the tiny itsy bitsy little flowers that they have. And one of the ways to recognize the plant, at the bottom it has leaves that are 5-pointed, so they look like a maple leaf. And then when you get to the top here, you can see these leaves are 3-pointed. And that's very, very standard for the plant. It has a 4-sided stem, and the flowers are this beautiful kind of fuzzy with little dots in them, and they're kind of a white to pink to purplish color. And they grow all the way around the stem. So right where the leaves come out right under the flowers. And once they go to seed, they're extremely prickly. So they actually really hurt. And I think that's a way that helps them travel. And they, kind of similar to feverfew, are profuse seeders. And so if you have a Motherwort in your garden, I started out with just one from an herb student, and now I have many, and I continue to pull out the little babies, because otherwise I get just hundreds in the garden. So the other thing that I like to do is I like to harvest it, and this is the time to harvest it. So when it's in bloom like this is the perfect time to harvest Motherwort. And if I don't harvest it, if I don't need it that year or whatever, I will still cut the flowers off, or before they go to seed, I'll cut them off so that I don't have, hundreds of babies in my garden the next spring. Otherwise it gets really hard to weed them all. And we might go into this a different time, but it's actually really hard for me to pull out little baby herbs out of the garden. So I'm always reluctant to do that, and then more grow, and it gets kind of wild and crazy in the garden, which is fun. It's good, and the students love, they take home a lot of the plants. But Motherwort is profuse, and so the aerial part is the part that you use. You don't want to use the woody stems. So the lower parts of the stems you're not going to want, but the upper parts in flower or just before flowering are really, really wonderful. My favorite way to use it is as a fresh herb tincture. You can also dry it and make a tea. It's extremely bitter, and so it does not make a delicious tasting tea. Because it's bitter, it's a good bitter tonic, and so it helps to aid digestion. And you can really use it both fresh or dried. So, you can tincture it dry if you want to make a tea, or use the tincture. And what it's good for medicinally, it's a wonderful cardiac tonic. And so the botanical name is Leonaris cardiaca. So you can think of, it's good for the heart. It's good for anytime you want to strengthen the heart. It's good for heart palpitations. It's kind of calming and soothing. So it's really grounding. So it's a nervine. It's good for the nervous system, kind of relaxes and calms and soothes, but it also calms the heart. So if you're feeling stressed and you're having heart palpitations or something like that, Motherwort is really excellent for that. It's also really good for the reproductive system. And you think about that first word, Motherwort, right? It's used for to bring on menstruation if it's kind of slow starting. It's used for after childbirth to kind of help drain the uterus and tone and strengthen the uterus again. It's a wonderful menopausal herb. It's excellent for hot flashes, and that way I really like it as a tincture, because when you're having a hot flash, you really want something that's going to work fast. So Motherwort is great for hot flashes, it's great for night sweats, and it's good for kind of irritability and grouchiness. So makes a wonderful menopausal herb as well, and can be a tonic for both men and women for the reproductive systems. It's also useful, and this is a little more technical, but it's also useful for hyperthyroid. So for kind of slowing down and relaxing and calming the thyroid a little bit. So if you have an overactive thyroid or a slightly overactive thyroid, Motherwort can help to soothe that. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to our channel, and we'd love to hear your comments below. You can also like us on Facebook and share us with your friends. For more wonderful information about herbal medicine and about classes and events that we offer, you can visit our website at greenpathherbschool.com. Thank you so much for watching.